Hello everyone. Today we will be learning about the lungs. See, the lungs are the key elements of the respiratory system. It means they play a very important role during breathing of gases. The lungs are present in pair. It means we have two lungs, the left lung and the right lung. And the color of the lungs is pinkish in color. And the lungs are very spongy organs, like they are not so hard or not so soft. They feel like sponges. Then look at this part. The left lung has two lobes, the upper lobe and the lower lobe, which are separated by an oblique fissure or also known as the left oblique fissure. The right lung has three lobes, the upper lobe, middle lobe and the lower lobe. The upper lobe and the middle lobe are separated by the horizontal fissure or the right horizontal fissure. The middle lobe and the lower lobe are separated by the oblique fissure or also known as right oblique fissure. Then we will see a term called mediastinum. This term mediastinum simply means the space between the two lungs. The space between two lungs where the heart is present. That space is known as the mediastinum. And the left lung has an impression of the heart known as the cardiac notch, which is also a characteristic of the left lungs. If we have to distinguish between the left lung and the right lung, then we can distinguish it with the number of lobes, and also we can see a cardiac notch on the inferior surface of the left lungs. Then we know about diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscular layer which separates the heart, lungs from the lower abdomen, like stomach, intestine, all these. And the lungs are supported by the ribs, which gives it protection. And for reducing the friction that the lungs undergo during respiration or breathing, that friction is reduced by a fluid known as the pleural fluid, which is released in the pleural membrane. Now we will see about the path of air. We take air from our mouth and also nose. The openings of the nose are known as nostrils. The air passes from the nostrils, then they move to the pharynx and then to the larynx. And after larynx, they move to trachea, then to the bronchus, and then primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, tertiary bronchi, and initial bronchioles and terminal bronchioles. And in the end, they reach the alveoli from where the gases are diffused into the blood vessels. Like this diffusion is based simply on the concentration gradient or the partial pressures of the gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. And the tubes from the trachea to the initial bronchioles are supported by incomplete cartilages or C-shaped cartilages, which provide them support so that the trachea does not collapse. Now we will see about the pneumocytes. Pneumocytes mean the cells of the lungs. These are the cells which are present inside the alveoli, and we know that alveoli helps in the diffusion of gases. So we will study two types of pneumocytes, the type 1 and the type 2. The type 1 pneumocytes are thin cells which help in the gaseous exchange based on diffusion. This process is based on diffusion of gases. And type 2 are the cuboidal cells, and these cuboidal cells reduce the surface tension of the alveoli so that the alveoli does not collapse during inspiration and expiration. This is done by the type 2 cells by releasing a fat or fatty substance known as the lecithin, and here the lecithin is most commonly dipalmitoyl phosphatidyl which is also known as DPPC in short. And these two cells are present inside alveoli, and type 1 helps in gaseous exchange, type 2 helps in reducing the pulmonary surfactant, or it acts as a pulmonary surfactant which reduces surface tension of the alveoli so that it does not collapse during inspiration and expiration. Here is a small diagram to show the lungs. Here this is the trachea, this is the trachea, and this trachea divides into the left bronchus and right bronchus at the fifth thoracic vertebrae, and this bronchus after getting inside, it gets separated into primary bronchi, secondary bronchi, and so on. And this left lungs has two lobes here, the left upper lobe and the left lower lobe. These are separated by the left oblique fissure. In the right lobe there are two fissures, and so the lungs is divided into three parts: right upper lobe, right middle lobe, and the right lower lobe. The right upper lobe and the right middle lobe are separated by the right horizontal fissure, and the right middle lobe and the right lower lobe are separated by the right oblique fissure. Another diagram of the lungs. Here you can see this part is the cardiac notch where the heart is present. It means some part of the heart is touched on this side. As we know that heart is tilted towards the left, so this is the tiltation, and the heart is present in this part. This part is known as the mediastinum. So here also we can see there is an oblique fissure. Here there is a horizontal fissure, an oblique fissure, and the upper one is known as superior, lower one is inferior, middle one is middle. So just the names have been changed to superior and inferior. That's all. Now we will see about the mechanism of breathing. See, this is the right lung, left lung, and this is the heart, and this membrane is the diaphragm, and the muscles of diaphragm are known as the phrenic muscles. So this is the normal diaphragm. The shape of a diaphragm when it is relaxed is known as dome shaped, but when the diaphragm gets flattened, or during inspiration the lungs get flattened and it becomes flat, during contraction it becomes flat. So this diaphragm comes to this level, almost this level, due to which the volume of lungs increases, and when the volume of lungs increases, then the pressure inside the lungs becomes lower than the atmospheric pressure, and that's why the air rushes into the lungs, which is known as inspiration. And during inspiration not only diaphragm but also external intercostal muscles help in inspiration. And during the relaxation of diaphragm, it means when the diaphragm becomes normal, that is dome shaped, and the external intercostal muscle also relaxes, then the volume of the thoracic cavity decreases, due to which the volume of lungs decreases, and due to this the pressure inside the lungs, which is also known as the intrapulmonary pressure, becomes higher than the atmospheric pressure, due to which all the gases they leave out, and this is known as the expiration. So this inspiration and expiration are going automatically. They are controlled by the autonomic nervous system. Although we can control them up to some extent, but they are not going to be controlled after a limit. And these are the respiration center is present in our pons. So this was all about lungs. Thank you.